Dice Roll fans, and welcome back to Diceolation, a Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition campaign set in the world of Eberron. My name is Tom, and I will be your Dungeon Master for this evening. Joining me tonight are some of our returning group of regular adventurers. First of all, Mr. James Harper.
Hi, I'm James Bulgarian Harper, and I will be playing Mike Your Bedrock, the Digger, a Storm, Surge, Storm, Warforged sorcerer.
And we've also got...
Time.
Oh yeah, every time. And we've also got Mr. Richard Badger.
Hello, I'm Badger. I'm playing Mick Dagger, the shifter rogue.
And finally, from the participants we've got with us at the moment, Miss Emily Westcott.
Hi, I'm playing Notad Dwarf Decivis, a marker scribing gnome warlock.
Fantastic. And potentially joining us a little bit later on will be Mr. James Lacey, who plays Daisy Druke, our Hobgoblin Barbarian Wizard. So it's been a while since we last met up. Before we go into a recap, do we have tonight's sponsor?
We most certainly do.
Oh, good.
Oh, good.
We've missed this.
Hey, you! Yes, you! Have you ever wanted to host your own Thunder Games live at your own house? Well, now you can. Talenta Plains Thunder Game Simulator is the most authentic simulator to the Thunder Games of Talenta Plains. Do you think you could do a better job than the judges? Do you have what it takes to be best in show? Or perhaps you'd rather pick? And you can have fun with friends. Bring them along with over 8 DIY game pieces. I can be an orc if you make it with this chisel, son. My hands are bleeding. Awesome! Authentic looking real and fake voting slips to tip the odds in your favor. Whoa! These almost feel like the real deal fake. Totally making my horse best in show with these. Medals made of lifelike attempted material. These totally feel like metal. Let's give one to Grandma! And more. So grab yourself the Talenta Plains Thunder Game Simulator today and start judging people. To have fun. Fireworks sold separately.
Magical, as always. Thank you to Talenta Plains Thunder Game Simulator for sponsoring tonight's episode. So, for everyone's benefit, because it's been a while since we've done this, here is a brief recap, or as brief as I could get it down, for the story so far. Some months back, you arrived in Sharn, the city of towers, seeking employment with the Boromar clan, a known criminal organisation with significant power within the city. You were tasked with proving yourselves by running some errands for Sergeant Germain Vilroy, a common acquaintance and known Boromar associate within the city guard. After proving your worth, you were set to task by the enigmatic Boromar Lieutenant Dion. This landed you in good standing with the clan and in ownership of a nightclub called the Bountiful Vine, which would function as your home within the city. Following another series of errands, Dion presented you with an infernal engine-powered carriage that you have since dubbed the Smash and Grab. With your new wheels, you set out on a whistle-stop tour across Corvair. On your journey, you went toe to various appendages with a gargantuan dragon turtle, a monstrous swamp hydra, spectral sky pirates, a cheese demon, seditious lizard folk, and took part in a halfling dinosaur festival. We pick up tonight, after the events of said festival, the Halfling Thunder Games. As you make your way back to the Smash and Grab, you see your Dwarven custodian Clod making their way across from the showground, their arms filled with a pile of furs. On reaching you, they begin to hand out a selection of size-appropriate coats and cloaks. They point a grubby finger towards the Ironroot Mountains to the northeast, indicating your next destination, the wintry peaks and homeland of Clod's people, the reclusive and independent dwarves of the Mror Holds. The Smash and Grab travels through the night, out of the Talenta Plains and climbing into the foothills of the southern Ironroot Mountains. The wheels rattle and bounce along the ancient roads carved out by traders and merchants. Thanks to the various enchantments placed on the carriage, those of you settling down inside experience little to no discomfort and a suitable amount of protection as the temperature outside begins to become bitterly cold. And as you peek out through the windows, you see snow flurries starting to build up. As the journey goes on, the light starts to fade. Thicker and thicker layers of snow building up along the roads, across the rocks, and in the trees. You've got, say, how much longer have we got left on this journey? So you got about another few hours left before you reach your destination. At the moment, you're all just relaxing, chilling out inside the very comfortable interior of the Smash and Grab. Is there anything you want to do? Want to discuss?
I'm going to ask the docent a question.
Yeah.
So I go, are these coats one of these fleshy things that we don't need to worry about?
You hear the voice of the Wavebreaker docent sort of murmur to life inside your head. It goes, well, it's been a while since I've been out in the world, but so far we've gone through various extremes of temperature and humidity, and you don't seem to have shown any signs of impediment. I assume that your frame is designed to just deal with this. I mean, might make the others feel a bit better if you're wearing one as well.
Or we could wear it and make fun of them.
I mean, sure. Why not?
So I robe up already and I go, ha! Look at me in my fleshy robe. What is the weather like outside? I ask you. Ha 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 ha!
Docent's like, hey, why don't you point out how much you're sweating inside of this?
Good one. Good one.
Oh,
Oh,
tell them how you've got oil
sweating,
leaking out from under your arms for no reason.
oil out of my arm orifice for no reason whatsoever. My arm exhausts are spitting right now. I am spitting furiously like you fleshies.
Point out to them how uncomfortable your genitals have become in the heat.
What are they?
Oh, you know, sometimes the meat sacks tend to have smaller meat sacks hanging from the lower parts of their meat
Your
sack.
exhaust port.
Just in front of that bit. Just
Oh,
make fun of
yeah.
that.
Ha. Okay. Ha. Oh, I can't do it. I can't do
Are
it.
you touching your meat sack right now?
Not yet. Oh, gee, this exhaust port between my legs is real uncomfortable. Oh, I'm gonna need to give it a rubbage.
They don't look at them. Look at
They
them.
don't know what to say. They don't know what to say.
They feel so stupid.
This is fun.
So, are we just gonna like listen to this weird mechanical circle jerk all day, or
I love it. Yeah, I'm here for it.
okay?
So bear in mind
We
that
can't hear the docent.
yeah, you guys can't hear the docent egging Mikey on. You can just hear Mikey sniggering to themselves and then coming out with the weirdest statements.
My
Right.
palms are slippy from how hot I am because they are now moistened. Oh, this coat is giving me so much problems, so much grief.
Daisy, have you, as you've sort of wandered into this, um, what's your reaction to Mike? You're just going off on one.
If I'm being honest, and to sort of break narrative, I'm not entirely sure what my reaction in the real world is. So it's difficult to somewhat come up with a reaction in world. I think I'm just gonna walk away.
Fair enough. So
Switch
you,
off and walk away.
you've sort of taken this in and kind of rolled your eyes a little bit and wandered over, find a slightly more comfortable and further distanced area of the carriage to sit down in.
I'm going to go a step further. I think I'm going to put the coat on and sit on the carriage.
Okay.
Preferable at this moment in time because I genuinely have no idea what the hell I just heard.
Fair enough. So you coat up and make your way out to the so you can either sit on the top of the carriage, which is going to be fairly blustery, or you've got the
like the seat at
I was going to say, yeah, you've got the. There's enough room in the driver's cab next to Claude to.
As much as I think
sit
it'd be
down.
funny to sit on top and just strap myself in and see what happens, I think it might be more practical to like sit at the front and good evening, everybody.
Good evening. The voice you're hearing is Mr. James Lacey, who will tonight be playing the role of Daisy Druke, the Hobgoblin Barbarian Wizard.
Yeah.
So as you make your way out through the front of the carriage, your face is just immediately hit with this blast of cold air, and you've got snow flying into your face. The engine's just chugging away, and you can see that Claude is just sat there, bundled up in furs, literally just looking like a pile of coats with a pair of goggles peeking out through the front.
I'll take it.
That's right. As you sit down, they can see that you're sort of struggling with the face, and they just sort of rummage. They've got one hand, both hands are on the controls at the moment. One hand just sort of disappears inside the pile of coats, and then pulls out like a pair of Roy Bond sunglasses and just hands them over to you, just to keep the snow out your eyes.
Can anyone else see me?
No, at this point, the door would have shut behind you, so it's just you and Claude.
In which case I will take them and put them on as quickly as possible and pretend like I always had them.
Fair enough.
Rather than in any way lose face.
Fair enough. Make a note, Ed. Anything from yourselves?
I think I'd be rather excited that like some conversation about a person's smaller meat sacks is happening.
Okay.
Not quite sure how to respond to it, but I guess
Try
Mike.
and get yours out to show everyone.
Yeah, you may probably. It's like, did someone say meat sacks? And then I'll just get mine out. Let's go with that. Thanks, Badger.
Fair enough. Make me a performance check.
I need guys.
It's cold, okay?
So is that
Yeah, put that out
disadvantage if
there.
it's cold?
Oh,
Disadvantage
no.
if it's cold?
Just make me a performance check. Let's see how this goes.
No, it's just a little bit smaller than it normally would be.
14.
14.
-2 for shrinkage.
So as you stand up and start to unbutton your fly, a sudden cold breeze just whips through the carriage as Daisy makes the way out onto that. What you were hoping would be an impressive windmill show turns out to be more of like a sort of like one of those like little beach pinwheels.
Okay. I mean, I am a goblin, or what am I again?
You're a gnome.
Yeah, I'm a gnome.
I mean, we're talking like to relative scale.
We're talking gnoming me, gnoming you.
Aha.
1d4 psychic damage, surely.
No, not yet. I mean, inspiration for gnome joke.
Oh, there we go.
Damn
So,
it.
I mean,
I got confused because
the
my
ice-
name is literally not a dwarf, so I was like, what am I?
Maybe you're a Fabergé egg.
Maybe.
Full of spiders.
What?
Mick, any response?
I've missed this.
Me too. Mick, any response to puppetry of the Notad?
No, I'm just going to put my cloak on, look at...
And put yours away.
yeah,
There's
put
only
my
one
cloak on,
appropriate response, and someone's getting on their knees.
turn around to Mike here and go, you might need the cloak, because doesn't oil get really thick in cold weathers? Maybe you'll shut down. Who knows? Just walk. Get
And I
in
go,
the carriage.
ha ha, yeah, yes, you. Can that really happen, Mr. Dawson?
I mean, by this point, the oil's already on the outside. I don't know what they do with it. Doesn't seem to slow them down.
Mr.
Right.
Dawson's the guy in his eye, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
this is the
the
Warforged, yeah, the Warforged AI that got rehoused from a Titanic war machine in place of Mike's eye, whilst the war machine itself is undergoing repairs.
Still yet to thank you guys for that fucking torture. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Beautiful.
Uh,
So,
Theo, we don't need no stinking fleshy coat, right? Right?
no,
Right?
we'll probably be fine.
Mick doesn't know what he's talking about, right?
So as the carriage rolls on, the wind seems to die down, and there's just this layering of snow outside. And Daisy, you'd be the first to notice that you are fast coming up on a very impressive dwarven structure. It is this huge castle-like fortress that is etched into the side of the mountain. We're very, very much like the visual representation brought forth by notable bard Peter Jackson. It is that kind of that. It is just almost like the front bit of a castle that has just been cut out of a mountainside.
Right.
And you can
So
see
it's like crenulations across the mountain tops.
got crenellations. You've got arches. You've got a very large dwarven face sculpted above the doorway, and you can see that there are a few bits and pieces of people coming in and out. Bits and pieces of people. That was poor wording. There are just random body parts being chucked out the door. No.
Faye been here.
No, Dad, you can hear.
No, Faye's been here.
Oh no.
Bags of children.
Bags of children. Oh no.
Oh god.
Oh, we'd almost
bags of
forgotten, but
children.
it is getting close to Halloween.
Yay!
That magical time of year where the bags of children are hung from the street lamps.
I see a cameo from Faye coming on.
Invest
Oh.
now for the Halloween expansion pack coming to Talenta Plains Thunder Games.
God's
Simulator.
sake.
Yay!
So as you make your way towards the mouth of this fortress, you can see that there are carriages and pedestrians coming in and out. And as soon as the carriage sort of comes to within the entrance of the hold, you see Claude just like pull on the handbrake and sit there and just kind of beckon you to get off the carriage.
I'll get off the carriage.
We're in the carriage though. Surely you on about
Oh,
Daisy?
It's
I'll
just
get
yeah,
out.
sorry, it's just indicating to Daisy that they want you to
What,
hop
in a
down.
get down, you'll hurt yourself style, or like a bit more of a, you know,
Open the
come
gate,
here.
you bastard.
It's more of a we're here. Your fare's been paid.
No.
Bye.
Come on now, places to be.
Okay,
Shit to
so
do.
so I walk out the door, and I feel the gust of wind, and I go, "Ooh, golly, this breeze has got me right in my exhaust port."
Well, you know what?
It's
Feel
about
the
to
breeze.
fall off.
You know there's a breeze. Can you feel breeze?
I can feel breeze. I just can't feel how cold it is.
I know it's there. I just don't know how cold.
Would you be able
Yeah,
to
it
breeze?
would register as like a sort of change in pressure. So
Yeah.
you know how most people would just sort of like lean into a strong breeze and just kind of move against it. It's the same kind of thing. You're registering that there is like additional force required to move against this.
I feel a breeze like drag.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually,
Yeah.
that's you know what,
It's moving me backwards.
Not to be confused with RuPaul, but
for
moving
that
on.
for that and willingness to go along with the genital conversation, you can have inspiration.
RuPaul's drag
What?
constant.
Mike,
Yeah.
I've already got
you just already
inspiration.
had it.
Look, I'm not
I've got
keeping
two
track.
now.
I'm not keeping
I've
track
got
of
two
this. But if
barrels
you
of inspiration.
didn't have inspiration already, you can have inspiration. If you have inspiration already, retain that inspiration. It does not stack.
15 minutes, and he's already got inspiration twice. I call bullshit on this.
Hey,
Mhm.
DM wants what the DM finds amusing. As you step down from the carriage, Daisy, you feel a tap on your shoulder, and Claude once again sort of fumbles around inside the robes and hands you a piece of parchment sealed with the Boromar clan emblem.
Okay. Can you remind me what
Open
the
it,
Boromar
open
clan
it.
is again, please?
Boromar
They
clan
are
is basically your employers.
the family of my great love.
Okay.
Down, Peter's pet.
They are fundamentally the criminal organisation to whom you have thrown your lot in with.
'Cause that's the kind of people we are.
Really
Heroes.
exhausted
We're probably worse than the Boromir Cap.
Big damn heroes, sir.
Big damn heroes.
Chat seems to say we're a lot quieter than the DM.
Hold up. Let me see if I can tweak that.
By chat, do you mean Heather?
No,
Someone else this time.
it is one of said players that cannot be here tonight
Ah,
because they are stuck on call.
still
I
on
feel
the
like
chat.
the other
Twitter's
players
not going to
who
help
aren't
me.
here should shut their mouth holes because it's none of their business.
Oh, hang on. I think it's because I had to turn everyone down because when I use Discord when you guys aren't around, everyone shouts at me.
I'm howling you all.
The howling. There we go. We'll see how that goes. So yeah, so you've been given this piece of parchment with the Boromar emblem on it, just as a sealed letter.
Open it. Open it.
Okay, let's have a look then. I'll have a butcher's.
As you break the seal and unfold the parchment, what you're looking down on is just Dion's face smiling back at you, as if it was like almost like a sort of woodcut on the paper.
Can you confirm the gender of Dion again? Because I never remember.
Dion
You need to know.
Does
No.
Notad really care?
No.
Dion has got some very strong masculine energy going on.
I've
trying to
always
work
thought it's a good girl.
I
I
keep
thought that.
forgetting how thirsty Notad is.
Dion's got a very very strong masculine energy. Probably male.
Okay.
He's got BDE, Big Dion energy.
Big Dion energy indeed. Yes.
I have just
Fine,
actually.
I know it doesn't stack, okay?
Sorry, I'm just trying to see if there's any way to boost chat
Oh, bollocks.
audio. See if that helps.
And
That
when you're
might
playing
help.
with dice and throw them on the
Boost
floor.
the signal.
Boosting the signal. We'll try that. See how that goes.
Fire up the
Okay.
lasers.
So, the face suddenly starts grinning at you. It's like, I see you've got my message. Well, you've probably already arrived at the dwarven home of Noldrunthrone. If you didn't know that's where you were, that's where you are now, because that's how I enchanted this letter to work. I need you
Ian.
to speak to a specialist that we've employed here, a dwarven artificer named Volky. They are working on a special delivery for us, and the good news is, once you've retrieved it, you can come on home.
Right.
Oh, good. Another dwarf.
Clear as mud as always from Dion.
Nice and cryptic as Dion. The face at this point is just sort of frozen.
Well, he would be. It's cold.
It's like I'm imagining, like, you know, when you pause like an old VHS, it's just like.
Oh yeah, it's
like the two lines on his forehead and chin, just like.
Oh.
oh yeah, it's totally the most unflattering frame it could have stopped on. It's just that sort of like the jaws a little bit slack, the eyes are half closed. It is nowhere near the level of grace that you've come to expect from them.
Good old stroke face.
Sometimes worry about you.
No, you don't. No. Okay. I literally wrote it down and I've lost the piece of paper, the name. I was like, I always forget the people's names that they say. I'm gonna write it down.
Rockval.
No, wasn't it like D. I'll leave it to you, Tom.
So you kind of you take the piece of parchment off of Daisy, and you turn it sort of over one way, back over the other. As you turn it back over, the message replays.
After that.
The dwarf that you're looking for is named Volky.
Volky.
I'm gonna write it on paper that can't disappear, aka my laptop.
Ah yes, the old invincible paper.
the paper that isn't paper at all. It's kind of like
Drawing
Mike here
board.
pretending to be a fleshy.
Bulky.
Is this one of those
Got it.
times where you just like completely mess up what's going on and you just like Sharpie the words onto your screen?
Yeah, it's like
I
that.
made
Can't wear 'em
plenty
out
of
with life.
notes and they will never ever leave. Oh, damn it.
Oh, fudge nuggets.
So are we? You said it was like like a castle. Are we still outside the gate?
Yeah, so you're still
or-
outside. Claude has like ostensibly pulled the brakes on, is making absolutely no move towards taking you inside, even though you can see that there are carriages and wagons of equal size to the smash and grab coming in and out quite easily. The doorway is enormous. It's easily wide enough for 3, maybe 4 carts across to come in and out. And again, you can see there are carts, so 2 lanes of traffic, people sort of milling around in between, carts overtaking, a general sort of bustle of people chatting, and as they're coming out into the cold, like tightening their coats up, and just the general clatter of commerce going in and out of this place.
I'm already on my way to the castle because I would love the opportunity to speak to another dwarf. Because all I've had for dwarvish conversation recently has been Claude, and
Claude.
Claude is great and everything, but
Right.
I need another dwarf to talk to. I would love the chance to
Claude
have another chat
does
to talk
speak
to
a
another dwarf.
unique dwarven
He has a
dialect.
unique dialect, yeah, for sure. And yeah, I can't wait to use my dwarvish language. So I'm just running right on ahead. I'm like, I'm going to find another dwarf. I'll see you guys later.
Can you get them to open the door for the shagwagon or whatever it's called?
The
Yeah.
Jaguar.
Wagon.
How very 90s of you.
This is
What's it?
this is a
Smash
damning
and
indictment
grab.
as to how long it's been since last time. The carriage, I think what you're looking for is the name of your carriage, which is the smash and grab, not the shagwagon, which I believe was one of the other suggestions that got left by the wayside.
And I believe it was one of M's choices to call it the Shagwagon.
Really in my head the whole time. I've just been like, yeah, shagwagon. It's
Like
fine.
your head canon is it's always been called the shagwagon. Notad refers to it as his shagwagon.
Yeah, get him to let us in. Yeah, Mike. Please.
Sure. And I
There's
chat
got
up.
to be a reason Claude stopped.
He's an idiot.
Hey,
Mick, make me a quick insight check.
What
I'm
gonna
just
ask me to
going
make an
with-
insult check.
It's not like Claude to stop the wagon unless we need him to, generally. Insight, where's that on my thing? Oh, it's got a +1. So that is a 16.
16. Yeah, so you look at the entrance and there's clearly enough room for the carriage to move through. Like even with all the other traffic, it wouldn't be difficult for it to like merge and pull inside the fortress. But then when you look at Clod, you can see that they're kind of a little bit twitchy. Like they've got the big furs around them, and you can see the cold is getting to them a little bit. They've pulled out a pipe and they're sort of drawing on it quite sort of anxiously. They sort of like take a big drag and then stop and then just look over at the gates and then kind of shudder and look back and looking around to check and see if you've all gotten off the carriage yet. It's like they're really anxious to just even be here.
Well, there's no point asking him why we stopped because he just no one understands him.
Our translators run off as well. Like they're the only person who's got any idea.
I have. You haven't stopped me.
Wow.
Could I just like stick my like head out the car and be like, "It's freezing. I'm not walking in there. Why have we stopped?"
Are you okay, hun?
At this point, Claude sort of opens up the hatch and peers down and just goes, bunch of weirdos.
Okay.
I mean, I think we'll fit right in.
Yeah.
Says the man driving a bright pink fucking cart.
Yeah. I mean, it does stick out. There are a number of people sort of giving it a bit of an odd look as they go past. They're like, well, looks like the horses' days are numbered. We start fattening up now.
Saying hello to everybody on the street.
So basically,
Oh yeah, Mike, you have full on like Disney princess your way off into the crowd.
Yeah.
so is Claude literally just refusing to drive up any further?
Claude is like
Claude-
he's hard handbrake and is just waiting for you guys to get off the carriage.
Claude, please pull forwards. Do it. I will get you a pint of ale.
There's a moment where it sort of flickers across his face, like,
2 pints? 2 pints? Mick will also get you a pint.
He
That's
looks
3.
he
in total.
looks at Mick for confirmation that this is a bona fide deal.
I look at Mick. Mick even like,
I mean, I won't stab you in your sleep.
You see Claude contemplate that and go, and he sort of regains himself and just shakes his head violently. It's like, no, I'm not going in there.
sod him. The beer's all mine. Let's go in.
Okay.
Mick,
I reluctantly get out of the carriage and start to walk up.
Daisy, are you with us?
Yeah, why not? I can't
Cool.
think of a better thing to do in this situation. I mean, I can think of lots of things to do generally.
I'll be honest, in your experience, very few of your adventures have happened on the carriage.
Yeah.
God is a real killjoy.
There's not many opportunities to prove one's strength sitting around on comfy cushions. So,
There are many things where it's nice and warm and I don't have to leave.
so Mike, you have, like I say, you've full Disney princessed off into the crowd.
Yep, I've met someone called Nobby with a silent runic G. He is the chief miner. Despite being 85, he is still a miner. And he has 3 children.
Fantastic. As you're sort of emphatically introducing yourself to Nobby and sort of pressing them for details, one of the city guards wanders over to you and sort of looks at Nobby and says, "Sir, is this individual bothering you?"
Hello, I'm Mike here. I can speak Dwarvish, and I'm a warforged. How are you?
I am well, thank you.
Oh, thank you for being such wonderful conversation today. That's what I've really wanted. Some more conversations with dwarves. Ah, it is refreshing.
We have sworn an oath to speak only the common tongue so as to better ingratiate ourselves to the many visitors we have to our wondrous home, all glory to the king.
See, I wonder if the docent has made Dwarvish sound like common to me, because I do find it really easy to understand at the moment. Or maybe I'm just used to speaking to Claude, that you guys just sound so common to me. Wow.
The Wavebreaker docent sort of wakes up and just goes, yeah, that's not Dwarvish, that's not me. That's just that's just common tongue.
Oh. Oh.
I mean, the accent's a bit weird, but that's just a dwarf speaking the common tongue of the people.
Is it like when you go abroad and you speak French and they reply back to you in English and you get real pissed off because you've tried your best to speak a different language?
Here I am trying to speak Dwarvish at them and they're just speaking common back to me. That's a bit rude, isn't it, really?
Yep.
Oh, mind you, so speaking to someone when they can't see them. Oh, orthopaz.
The guard has just kind of watched you mutter half a conversation with yourself and is sort of a little bit wary.
Hi.
Hello. Forgive me, what is your business here in Noldrunthrone?
I don't have the letter, so this is going to be very awkward.
You caught up with him by this point.
Let's
Saved.
see. Would you have caught up to them?
We had quite the argument.
It's quite a busy crowd, and without being sizist, gnomes aren't that great at finding an individual in a crowd from a ground level.
Warforged.
Even so, you're still trying to navigate by basically everything from the waist down, which is normally how you'd like it, but it's
is
a
the
little bit
second
difficult to
size
pick out an
joke.
individual.
Second size joke in under half an hour, and I'm not here for it.
That's size joke.
You won't stand up for it.
God damn it.
So this is gonna sound really crazy, but we're with the Boromar clan, and I think they're kind of a big deal around in these parts. I'm not too sure.
We are familiar with the Boromar clan, one of the noble houses of the halfling people.
Oh, good. So you have heard of them. That's great. Yeah, I'm with them.
Wonderful. And their business here in the city, with you as their unusual representative?
Oh, I know this. We're looking for a dwarf.
Well, my friend, there are many dwarves here. You may have to be a bit more specific.
Have we caught up now?
I would say by now you have caught up.
Volky! Sorry.
Valky. No, that's a
Valky.
dwarf. What are you doing?
That's who we're looking for.
Yeah, the dwarf's name's Valky.
Mick and Daisy, can you both make me perception checks, please?
Like something bad is about to happen to me and
Oh,
Mike.
good.
Yeah, I got that distinct feeling as
Yeah.
well.
Can you
Perception.
perceive in time to pretend that you don't know us so that you don't get put in chains?
I
I'm
got
trying
a
to
10
remember. I've
because
got
I'm
rolls,
too
to be
busy
honest.
trying to huddle into as many furs as I can because cold.
That's fair, yeah. Your time has been preoccupied with going, this is really cold, and I hate cold weather. Can I steal more coats?
Just like, fuck this.
Yeah. Yeah, you're really having a bad time dealing with the high wind and low temperature. Daisy, what did you get on your roll, sorry?
16.
16, okay. So you're having a bit more of a sort of hardier background. You're not so fussed about the cold weather. And when you catch up to Micure and Notad, who are at this point trying desperately to unravel the tangled mess of conversation that Micure has created, the first thing that strikes you about the Dwarven Guard they're speaking to is their armour. You've seen dwarves before in both sort of civilian and more military contexts. And you're pretty familiar with the sort of general style and design of dwarven equipment and architecture. It's very sort of geometric shapes and large block panels, like big shoulder pads, like solid chest pieces, sturdy greaves. This is unusual, and as you look around and spot sort of more guards dotted through the crowd, you notice they're all wearing the same very unusual looking armour. It is, for lack of a better word, tactical. It's very sort of quite form-fitting. It's sort of quite close, smooth plates. There's a lot of sort of curves to it. It's a lot
The
more.
armor.
It's a lot more organic than the sort of the more obviously heavily crafted, ornate dwarven armor that you're used to seeing.
Did you say practical or tactical?
Both to a degree.
Okay.
So it is this. It's almost like you've encountered a dwarf in stealth armor. It's like I say, it's very much close fitting, sort of smaller panels. It's very sort of smooth. There's this sort of weird kind of opalescence to it. It's almost like a beetle shell going on. Yeah,
great.
actually, that's probably the best way to describe it. It's very sort of beetle-like, almost.
Juicy.
It's almost juicy. You also notice that the armor panels don't appear to be so much like sort of they're not kind of like strapped on or anything. Doesn't appear to be sort of any attachments to the body. They just seem to be sat on this kind of like under armor of like sort of deep red, almost looks like muscle fiber. There's some sort of like underlayer going on there. These are very, like I say, very sort of sporty, tactical looking dwarves in unusual armor. And it is repeated across all of the individuals that you can see within the sort of military arm of the dwarven populace here.
Okay. I'm getting the impression that they're like walking around in like Python. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think like the closest visual approximation I can give is the still suits from Dune. That kind of aesthetic.
Hang on.
You have a look at David Lynch's movie from the 80s.
Oh, right. You mean the original? Yes,
Yeah,
I do. Yeah. Okay.
I think Carl McLachlan shouting at stuff. That
Yeah.
sort of armor, that kind of vibe.
Okay. Is that pre or post Jean-Luc Picard being in it?
He was in the.
He
Look,
was in the
we'll
original.
deviate into a Dune conversation some other time, but yeah, it's that kind of vibe, that kind of almost like muscle suit armor thing going on.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't muscle, was it? It was so that they could. Do you know,
It
we're going
was,
to go into
yeah.
it again. Let's
We'll
carry on.
deviate too hard on this. I can see this going downhill real fast.
Oh,
So yeah, no, Tad, you've kind of bustled into the conversation, just screaming Volky, and as soon as you mention that name, the guard turns to you, and their demeanor immediately changes, and they look at you and go, "You are seeking Volky."
Well, I'm always seeking something starting with VUL, but yes, today it is Valky.
Usually it's Vulcans.
It was a Volver joke, but
Don't worry, I got it.
tenuous. Tenuous.
The guard
I think I
remains unimpressed.
I think I just about managed to get it in between the obvious statement. You may as well have just shouted vagina at him.
Vagina.
It was a delicate subtext.
I've got a mangina.
Yeah. Yes, that is the dwarf that we seek on behest of
Do you-
the Boromore clan.
Do you know where he is?
The
Are you
guard,
Volky?
the guard looks at you and goes, "You will find that peculiar half-breed in the furnace."
Like in the like, is in burning, dead, ash, or like
The guard just kind of
furnace as a room.
gestures towards one of the walls inside the entrance. You can see there's basically a big message board up on there. It's kind of like almost like a hospital directions sign.
Right.
And there's a number of different sort of major locations on there, but they appear to be divided into sort of 4 categories. And you can see that there is the bottom category just says Furnace District. And there's a list of what appears to be like smiths and shops on there. It's quite clear that just even from a glance, the businesses here specialise in like the sort of manufacturing end of materials management. There is also a big warning at the bottom that states all magic is prohibited, and that message is repeated in various different languages. It's in common at the top, and then there's multiple reiterations of it below.
So let me just confirm, because I am a warlock,
Yes.
and Mike, you're a sorcerer or warlock as well? No,
Mykior is a sorcerer.
sorcerer. Yeah. Okay. And Daisy, you're a wizard. Thought so. And then we've got our non-magical friend over here.
And yeah.
Huddled in furs.
So okay, so 3/4 of us are magical. Great. Let's do this.
Could only go well, right?
I'm going to write that down on the not paper.
Let's get the Sharpie out on the
Okay.
screen again. So,
It's magic.
as you make your way into the main hall of Noldrunthrone, the first thing you immediately notice is a sudden shift in temperature. It immediately becomes cloyingly warm. It's a very dry heat going on in there. And as you look out into the main span of the city, you can see that you've come in on what is ostensibly a platform above a volcano. There's this large, huge platform. There are like multiple dozens of shops set up in the wall that goes back against the side of the mountain, various stalls set out through the middle. And you can see paths leading off to the left and to the right that go down to go down a little bit onto a sort of another section of it, and then from those you can see the paths disappear off behind this sort of layer of smoke towards the back. You can't see any further back than that because the centre of this city is occupied by a gargantuan golden pyramid with an incredibly brilliant crystal top piece going on. It's a solid, what looks like solid gold walls going right the way up, and then the final sort of 5% of the pyramid just appears to be this brilliant crystal top cap. And you can see that the pyramid is kind of directly level with the platform you've walked into. And then you've got 2 ramps going down either side to another set of platforms, and then a final ramp going down towards the back. If there was to be an illustration of it, it would look something like this. Those of you listening along, I'm desperately holding up my notebook to the camera because I didn't have time to transcribe this. So you are here.
Yeah.
The pyramid is here.
Yeah.
These bits are below you. This is behind.
So we're in an octagon.
It is basically a big octagon, yes. Yeah.
So yes,
Yeah.
there are paths to the left of us, paths to the right, and here we are, stuck in the middle of you.
Oh, look at that. You
I
found
knew that's where you were
inspiration.
going.
Inspiration to Mick.
For no apparent reason. Anyway.
Okay. So, the according to the kind of visitor's guide map that is set up in the centre, the furnace district is the point opposite side to the pyramid to where you've come in. But as I say, the entire area is bustling. There are people chatting away. Again, you can see the guards sort of patrolling in pairs, wearing this unusual armour. Some of them are standing on guard points. Some of them are just walking through the crowd. They all appear to be quite
I'm just
approachable.
happier it's warmer.
Oh yeah, you're like immediately coat off under your arm. Jobs are good.
6 coats off by the sounds of what he was putting on earlier.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, some of the coats you can't be asked to carry, you've just like hung on people as they walk past. They haven't noticed. You're wondering if there's a market in reverse pickpocketing.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna want them back anyway. It's when we leave, so.
You'll probably find someone you can take them back off. Take off their back. Either way.
Meh.
So, following the instructions of the letter and the layout of the city, you make your way down to the furnace district. Just for my own sake, are you heading around the pyramid to the left or around the pyramid to the right?
I would want to go left.
Because
Okay.
that's the way he dresses.
That's fine. So as you head off to the left of the pyramid,
It's a man thing. You dress to the left or the right.
gotta pick one.
What?
Gotta pick one.
That's a thing. What? Whoa! Hang on. What? What do you mean you dress to the left or the right? What does that mean?
It's got to hang one way.
Are you?
Oh, okay. Alright.
There we go.
Alright.
I'm gonna be.
We're talking about shirt tails, right?
I'm gonna be. I'm gonna be as polite as I can with this. There's only so much give in a pair of jeans.
Oh, alright. Cool.
One of the legs has to double up.
The minute Jamie gets home, I'm going to be like, so, to the left or the right?
Show me your trousers!
And he'll know. He'll know what you're talking about
My
instantly.
world explode.
I love that this is
To the left
genuinely a
it
school
is.
day for you.
Honestly? So what are you talking?
See, he'll know, and it's Telefally.
You know, when we
There are
started
some
this,
people,
I
in
was
fairness,
just
just
really
to skip
concerned
between.
about keeping everyone in touch and just having a good time. I didn't realise that we'd be fulfilling a vital
Life
health
lesson.
and well-being edutainment series
I believe the
as we
Germans
go
call it
through.
Wissenschaft.
In fairness, there are some people who just go straight down the middle and pop it right through.
Through where?
That's called tucking, and we're back to RuPaul's Drag Race, right?
Full circle.
Are you sure we can't stack?
I'm fairly certain, and please don't say stack. It opens up a whole bonus set of questions from
And if we didn't get, like your music, like what was it? Did you say when they say you can't make money on the video, demonetized? If we don't
Yeah.
get demonetized for the music, we will be for what we get.
Oh yeah, like that will fully demonetize me for using copyrighted music. But talking about how gentlemen dress themselves,
Our
that's
friend on the chat has just said, "What the hell is happening right now?"
I thought this was D&D.
oh yeah, we're playing D&D. We'll get back to it. Don't worry.
It is. It's Dixon distribution.
Well,
did
no,
you
Tad's
binge
playing
it
a
on?
very hungry man. He needs to know these things.
Honestly, in my head right now, like getting a bit weirdly real, I'm gonna bring the tone down. But I'm
No,
genuinely now
we've already hit
thinking,
the bottom. We can only go up from here.
Oh, there
I
are
think you'll find
highlights.
we can go
I'm
lower.
thinking more in like a heavy sort of cut way. In that, like, I'm just thinking about people who must transitions gender and things that like must be just so out there to them. Like that's just 28 years on this planet, and I had no idea what you were talking about. just
Honestly,
then.
it is probably a discussion for another time, but I'm fairly certain one of the many challenges with transitioning is understanding what to do with newfound genitals.
Madness.
Boob cages.
Yeah, trans women having to understand bras, trans men having to understand which way to dress. But that is a far more
Nuanced
in-depth and
conversation.
nuanced conversation that I feel we're qualified to have whilst we're
Absolutely.
discussing.
Tune in next time,
Tune
Diceroll
in
fans.
next time when we will do a much more deep. We'll do like a DM cocktail evening where we'll talk about the.
My next sponsor is going to be absolutely incredible.
Oh.
I might need to start vetting your sponsors. Right. Anyway,
We're going
do,
to the left.
do you remember when we were? Do
Grandkids cod pieces. Anyway.
you remember when we were doing the Dungeons and Dragons a few minutes ago?
Yes.
Shall we-
Firkin.
We're in an octagon and we're going left.
Yeah.
I've just seen what you've posted.
So, trying
So-
desperately to move on. So as you make your way from the sort of more mercantile area, round the left of the pyramid, dressing to the left as you will, you come into, in a weird twist of fate, what is a much quieter, much more serene kind of plateau. And you can see that there are various large buildings set up for that clearly labelled as Grand Library, Grand Church. This is a much more introspective and more peaceful area, away from the hustle and bustle of the shoppers and traders. This is reserved for the pursuit of knowledge and religious wisdom. And as you move on through this down to the lower area towards the back of the pyramid, it becomes very industrial. The majority of the lighting here is provided by the glow coming from the magma still in the base of the volcano, illuminating up. There are a few sort of magically powered street lamps going on, but a lot of the buildings here are occupied by blacksmiths, leather workers, miners, stone cutters. It's all very sort of, like I say, very heavy industrial work going on. There's the sound of tools, the smell of various chemicals, and the air is quite thick and dusty. Again, there is still a similar presence of guards milling around, but they tend to be keeping sort of more to themselves. Most of the people here kind of are aware of what they're doing. They're moving around in a very much more business-like fashion.
So we probably fit right in.
Oh yeah. To be fair, most of the people are just kind of ignoring you and just sort of moving. Like if they need to, they'll just move around you rather than ask you to get out of the way.
It's like London. So, is there any sort of signs or anything that points to this person we're looking for? Like, is there, or we just can
A lot
ask?
of the larger shops tend to have their sort of business names out the front. Make me an investigation check, please. Just to see if you can looking around, see if you can spot it.
Oh, that is a 15.
Okay. So as you're looking around, you spend maybe, I don't know, quarter of an hour looking around at the various shops. You're sort of kind of keeping together in a rough huddle. Mick, you are the first one to spot a smaller workshop. Its windows are boarded up, door is closed. There is a sign on the front that says "We are open," and the bannering across the top says "Volky's Organic Smithy." The reason that you can see the windows have been boarded up is there is a lot of graffiti on there. Things like "Half-breed, go home," "Get out." It seems to be quite, harsh and offensive stuff that's on there. There's a couple of languages you don't understand. And this shop is set back a little bit from the main drag on there. But it definitely is the name that you're looking for.
Would
Just
I
gonna
be able
point.
to understand any of the languages on
I
the
point,
wall?
point at the party towards it. Is that the thing?
Okay. So Mike, as you're looking at it, it's almost like the docent has just gone, "Oh, that's a bit much," and you can see that aside from the stuff that's written in common, quite a lot of it has been sort of black barred out of your vision.
Redacted. Okay.
Yeah,
Tensed.
yeah. The docent is actively censoring your vision at this point. It's like that's a bit much.
Oh. Why? What does it say?
Oh, you've not been online long enough to hear stuff like that. That's oof. Like,
But now I wanna.
don't get me wrong. I am not a fan of these ham stacks, but even I wouldn't say that. I'd sooner stab them. Bad hands.
That mean, huh?
Yeah, it's oof. It is. Yeah.
I don't like mean people.
No, I mean we said some nasty stuff during the war, but this is just cruel.
We should go in and see if he's okay.
I mean, they say
So
they're open.
So I kind of like burst through the door.
Um, as you do,
Ah.
there is a loud clanging noise. You hear it sort of almost like someone drilling on metal.
Oh.
And you hear it in 3 short bursts. And it pauses. And then 3 short bursts again. And then pause. And as you look around the interior of this workshop, your eye is immediately drawn to a small hand hammer hanging off the front of a shield, and it is glowing. It's just like this sort of kind of warm white color coming from the metal, and the hammer itself is just shaking against the shield, and every time it does, it makes this, like I say, almost like a drilling sound. It keeps going, and you start to take in the rest of the workshop. You can see at the back there is a very ornate looking forge, which is dark. There are a number of armor panels similar to what you've seen the guards wearing, albeit in slightly different sizes. Some of them look like they've been taken from actual insects, only massive. They've got sort of spikes and horns coming off them. And in the far corner is a cage with an incredibly large, kind of like woodlouse, sort of isopod thing. It's got this very sort of tall curve to its back and these long feathered antennas and just massive compound eyes. And along with the hammer and shield going off, you can see this thing has responded to your presence and it's sort of looking directly at you, and you can see the little antennas just sort of twitching towards you. The shop itself is well lit. It's not sort of dark or dismayed. It literally looks like someone has just stepped out. So that kind of, the shop has been open, they've gone to grab a sandwich. It's that kind of vibe that you're getting.
And instinctively hold my hand up to that beetle.
Okay.
Just hold it up.
The rest of you,
like I'm about ready to fire. Like I've.
Yeah, the rest of you would have had time to wander in and take all of this in yourselves, and you see Mike, you're heading towards this beetle, hand outstretched. You've maybe got about, I'd say, 10 seconds before Mike is within petting range.
Oh no, I was going to blast it.
Okay, you've got about 10 seconds before Mike is in blasting range.
I walked in this shop and I started blasting.
So I started blasting.
And this beetle's just there minding its own business.
Yeah, it's you can see that it's responding to Mike you're walking in. It's looking directly. It's in a reasonably large cage. It's got about enough room to sort of do a quick turnaround. The thing is like probably 2 foot long. It is a big, large cat-sized beetle. But you can see it's got the kind of little dozens of little segmented legs underneath it. Like I say, it's got the big compound bug eyes and these 2 very long feathered antennae that they are twitching sort of back and forth towards Mike, or it is clearly responding to
My hand's already touching the bug. It's too late.
their presence.
I was going to say, I don't know what the others are going to do, but I'm just going to say fire in the hole.
My hand's already touching the bug. It's too late.
Okay.
It didn't threaten me enough, and I didn't threaten it enough. So now I'm just petting the bug.
Fair enough. Mike,
Yes.
can you go ahead and make me a Constitution check, please?
Oh, fuck nuggets. Oh. Oh, 19! 19!
19. As you bring your hand closer to it, you immediately feel a certain, there is a noticeable change in the metal parts of your hand. And you have it.
This.
Yeah, you sort of stop and pull your hand back, and you can see that the tips of your fingers and the sort of tops of your knuckles have started to sort of show signs of sort of pitting and rust.
Ah! Ah!
As you scream out, a dwarf walks into the room. Most dwarves you would have expected to come in through the door at the back of the room. Most dwarves would open it first. This one just sort of walks through the door as if it's not there. Like they've just phased through the door and immediately run up and just sort of push, just not aggressively, just kind of move your hand out the way, as a parent would do to a child about to put its hand into a tiger's cage. And it's like, whoa, 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 careful, careful, careful. She'll eat your entire arm.
So I bring up my other hand and I start
And I start blasting.
So I bring out my other hand to try and while he's got my other arm up in the air, my other hand comes out in a the whole Iron Man.
At this point, you can see the beetle has kind of inched forward, and you can see there's like a sort of, it's almost like it's drooling. There's like this sort of ichor just dripping down from its mandibles, and the antennae are twitching faster and faster now. At this point, the dwarf just pulls a like a spanner off the wall and starts banging on the cage, and it sort of just stops and retreats back to the far side. It's like, I've told you, only the scraps. Oh, sorry about that. I keep Sheila around just to get rid of stuff, but well, to be honest, we don't really get many Warforged in here. I haven't thought to make a slightly more impressive sign. Anyway,
So I can't blast it. Look, it's right here. I just, before I go.
you don't want to go using magic here. You're mad. Have the guards down on you.
Mm.
I don't know.
Ah.
'Cause I know how to be casting all the stuff.
Anyway, folks, how can I help?
Might not be magical spells.
Who's got the letter?
Daisy.
No, I gave it to you. You took it off me, didn't you?
I was gonna
No,
say,
Ted would have been the
Dion-
last person with the letter.
Yes,
I
I
was
was
been-
flipping it
Dion
over.
sent us.
As soon as you mention the name Dion, the dwarf's expression just kind of changes. It's gone from just sort of jovial, happy to have customers to genuine pleasure. Just like you are long-awaited friends turning up, and like, oh, you're the exterminators that I called for. I'm glad you could arrive so quickly.
Terminators. So I do get to blast the.
Yes,
Mm,
you're
okay.
here to deal with the vermin problem in the basement. And they're winking at you
It's not the
heavily.
basement.
We're just gonna go to make you follow him. Make you.
As they're sort of obviously expositing at you, they're making their way towards the front door. And they're just like, oh, I'm so glad that you could get here so speedily. We've had real problems. And they quickly open the door and stick their head out and just check both ways, up and down the street, then poke their head in, shut the door, do up the bolts, and wander over to one of their workbenches. And they pull out just a little, it's like a gold-edged crystal cube. And they put it on the center of the workshop space. And like, well, I'm glad you are the 4 people I have asked to come here to deal with the vermin problem in the basement. And they speak directly into the cube and then set it down and just sort of tap the top of it. And you see this wave of light just kind of pulse out and fill the corner of the rooms.
Does he want us to go and get him some orange sherbet?
As you'll find out, as the light fills the room, you see that there is this kind of after image of each of you now just moving around the room like a really bad animatronic. And even though the voice is muffled, it's kind of like listening to a conversation underwater. You can see that the image of the dwarf is talking to you, the images of you, about exterminating the vermin problem in the basement. There's conversation about loss of food and rats, and you're saying how big are they, and there's discussions of payment, and it is very sort of banal chit chat, and they're just watching these images and just grinning to themselves like, it is cool, isn't it? Look at him go. Anyway, yes, Dion sent you. Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
He's
Yes.
our
Yes.
babe. They are our babe.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Well, my name's Volky, and it's now you've got a chance to sort of take in the appearance of this dwarf. They've got very sort of short hair. They've not got the usual like long, flowy, dwarfy Nordic thing going on. Very short hair, quite a close cropped, like some of almost like an Amish chin strap thing going on. Their skin is quite sort of almost like a deep olive tan on, a kind of sort of Mediterranean skin tone on there. But their hair is this very deep red with these kind of bright orange highlights. And as they're moving around, you see just like little kind of embers just sort of flicker off from their hair and beard as they move around. They're dressed in sort of quite practical, kind of like leather workwear. And they introduce themselves. Right, my name is Volky, and we do have a problem of sorts with the basement, and I was led to believe that in exchange for my services, Mr. Dion would be sending some folks to help me out with that, and I trust that you will be the ones to sort this problem for me.
That sounds accurate.
Yeah, what Dion says Dion means, and we do.
Fantastic, fantastic. Now,
Hooray.
couple of
Hooray.
quick primer questions. Have any of you ever been to Noldrunthrone before?
No.
It was
No.
too cold.
Nose all round. Nose all round. No.
Are any of you familiar with the concept of manifest zones?
No.
That's a no
What's-
from me.
Okay.
That's a no.
Have any of you or any close family member ever had their brains ripped out and eaten by an extra dimensional entity?
I feel like that happened to a cousin of mine, but I didn't witness it, so I can't be sure.
I don't have family.
Wonderful. Follow me. And they make their way through over to the door at the back. This time they open it and walk through. And you follow them downstairs into the basement of the workshop. As you do, there is this whirring noise, and you see two large brass tubes on tripods with this big vat of sort of golden yellow fluid in a glass container on top of this. The tubes themselves are sort of decorated with these little glowing red gems. And as Volky moves down, they sort of pivot to follow
Pivot.
Volky. And just looks over and goes, "Oh, don't worry about them. Just a little containment procedure if things get out of hand." And here we are. And they point to the far wall of the basement area. The basement itself is completely empty, save for these two devices on tripods and a large archway on the far wall, or rather the relief of an archway. The actual wall itself appears completely solid. The archway is covered in glowing purple runes. No, Ted, can you just make me a wisdom saving throw, please?
Okay, all right. That'd be an 8.
8.
With my
Okay.
+4.
You
Roll die.
find yourself being oddly drawn to look at the runes. And the longer you stare at them, the more you feel compelled to just go up and touch them.
Are they
And
breast shaped?
it's the same level of compulsion.
It
It
would
is.
explain a lot.
You want to go up and just feel them grooves.
Got it. Okay. I understand.
And as you get closer, you start to feel like this sort of real sharp pain in the back of your head. Like the closer you get, the more you want to touch them, the more this kind of migraine sensation starts to creep over. And Volky just sort of reaches out and grabs you by the upper arm and goes, not yet, not yet, not yet, not yet. That's dangerously unsafe. Here,
Oh,
take one of
but they
these
were
each.
speaking to me.
And Volky hands out a medallion to each of you, made of just simple metal, but with it's a round medallion with a symbol of an eye on it. The center of the eye is picked out in this kind of like purple amethyst gem, and there are similar looking runes around the outside as to the design on the archway. And as soon as you put it on, you immediately feel the wave of pain starting to build in your head just sort of subsides. And Volky puts one on themselves. Goes, yeah, might want to just Keep your wits about you. Don't want anyone to go losing their brains now. Follow me. And he walks over to the centre of the archway, pulls out a knife from their back pocket and just stabs it into the wall. And as they start to bring the knife down through the stone, you're a little bit taken aback because you're fairly certain knives shouldn't work like that.
Impressive.
Nor should the wall be bleeding.
Oh.
Oh my.
And as they
It's
bring
fine with the monk.
This is cutting edge technology.
the knife down to the
Fucking
floor
fine.
level, the wall just kind of sort of peels back like, and I'm already regretting this choice of words, a sort of
Foreskin.
no, I was going to say like a macabre set of meat curtains, but that's about the best I could.
Good. And
Much
back
better
to
than foreskin.
Volva.
And we're back to where we started.
The world revolves around us.
Revolvers around.
Mm. That's
Come
nasty.
on.
So,
These jokes must come for something.
oh, they count for something. It's the years at the end
Yeah,
that are
that's what I
just
said.
falling away.
That's what I said. That's what I said. Sure.
Beyond the sort of rune-etched, gore-soaked archway, you can see a large open cavern beyond. And Volky turns to you and says, just a word of explanation here. Mr. Dion has tasked me with producing some very particularly specified enchanted items for which I need certain reagents. Chief amongst them, dragon shards to run the enchanted forge upstairs. Now, normally,
We have dragon shard. No.
They make good cannonballs, I've heard.
you've got dragon shards.
I could be lying and mixing different sessions together. So, anybody else back me up on this?
We did have a dragon shard, but we got attacked and I used it as a cannonball.
Mick,
Right.
you would remember there is also the crate of half a dozen unrefined dragon shards that you got from Whitecliff.
Hmm.
Is that with Claude on the?
That is
Dragon.
currently with Claude on the Smash and Grab.
Isn't it what powers the smash and grab?
No, these were a separate delivery that you were asked to pick up.
Okay.
So Volky's attention is like, you have dragon shards, just knocking around.
Maybe. What's it to you?
Perhaps.
What's in it for us?
I mean, these are... What type of dragon shards? Because
What does the dragon shard do?
it powers the forge.
And the forge makes the things that
The
Dion
forge makes
wants.
the things that Mr. Dion has requested, yes.
Mm. I don't see much of a choice here. Kids.
I mean, if you've got a spare few incredibly rare extra dimensional Kyber dragon shards knocking around, that's fine. We can just grab one of those, leave this nightmare behind, and just get on with my work upstairs.
I don't know what type they are personally.
Many would you need? Because we don't have many, obviously. They don't sound-
I mean, the main reason
Three?
I use this place is it's the Kyber dragon shards. There's your normal ones that you find knocking around, animating stuff, and used as reagents. Just the normal common or garden Eberron dragon shard. 10 a penny. Pick those up at any old market. But Kyber dragon shards, ooh, they've got some spicy kick to them. And that's what I need to run my forge. Now, normally, I've just been able to pop into this particular nightmare portal and just go pick them up. Recently, things have become a little bit busier. We've got some new tenants. that have moved in, and it's made it a little bit difficult for me to just sort of pop in, grab what I need, come back home, get back to work. You know how it is.
And how many of this particular type of dragon shard do you need?
Oh, just to be honest, this place is nearly tapped out. Part of my deal with Dion was I make the bits and pieces they need. He helps relocate me to Sharn. I get a nice new workshop. I get away from the, frankly, racist locals upstairs, and I can carry on doing what I need to do.
Why do they hate you?
I mean, this kind of points at the beard that's slightly glowing and the hair that's slightly glowing. It's like, I don't know if it's super obvious, but I'm not full dwarf. Like, the long story short, father was a dwarf. My mother
Genasi.
might have been a dwarf-shaped fire elemental somewhere along the line. Maybe a grandmother or a distant relative or something. Either way, it gave me this sort of flame things. Also, I can do this and just starts clicking and just dancing a flame between his different fingers. No one taught me that. I've been able to do it since I was a kid. Been a nightmare having to fireproof the entire house. Anyway, yeah, turns out what with the locals being all hail the king and all weird insect armor stuff, they don't take kindly to those what aren't proper dwarves living here so much. And to be honest, I'd rather not get my door kicked in again. It's not great. It's not fun.
Not a good look.
It's not. Like, oh, get out, you filthy half-breeds. Yeah, I don't need that noise.
Mike, do you want to go check with Claude what we've got in the smash and grab?
Oh, probably best not to go back up through the workshop. The enchantment I put up there is going to last for probably a few more hours, and if you open the door, it breaks. And
Right.
the guard may put their head in through the door. If it sounds like I'm just asking some friendly exterminators to deal with big rats, they're fine with that. They'll be like, "Oh, Birking half-breed can't deal with rat problem by himself." You know, that holds up as a cover story. If they're like, some strangers walked in and everything's gone really quiet, that sounds like the half-breed may have murdered them, so we can kick his door in and go and take a look. It's not. I don't need it.
I mean, I'm good at the murdering part.
Mr. Dion did say that you had a certain set of skills.
So basically, what you're telling us is we can't leave, so we're going to have to go into the giant gore portal to get some shit.
Gore portal. Gortle. Oh. Volky's kind of just turning over puns for the portal in his head.
Yes, the gore portal. Right.
Gortle.
Mm.
It's not bad. Not bad. I like that. But yeah. One quick trip, in and out, be 20 minutes. It'll be fine. Be
Alright.
fine.
What's
Come
moved
in.
in here?
Well,
Hands in, team.
remember I told you, it asked you about manifest zones?
I stab things.
Okay.
Stabby, stabby, stab.
Tell you what, I've got a really easy visual metaphor for how manifest zones work to link different parts of the multiverse together. Can you pass me that sheet of paper over on that workbench and that pencil, please? I think you're gonna like this. Any one of you? Don't all jump at once.
I'm sorry. I thought you were talking
Volky's
specifically
just
to,
sort of stood there,
like,
just like
Mick.
like really expectantly waiting to like do some like high school science demonstration for you, and you're just kind of zoned out at him.
Mine's more the menial labour, me pass you things. Ugh.
I will hand some paper and a pen to our friend here.
Fantastic. So, the way that manifest zones work within the construct of the multiverse to separate and connect the different planes together is much like this pen and this piece of paper. Just screws it up and throws it into the corner. Makes absolutely no fucking sense if you try to explain it with metaphors.
Are you fucking kidding? That
Yeah.
was my last pen. Do you know how hard it is to come across a pen in a place like this?
I mean, it just kind of looks down at his breast pocket and just pulls another pen out and hands it to you. Like, they're not.
I take it from him, but I am losing.
Take it from him and in anger snap it and throw it across the room.
He can tell that I'm losing patience fast.
That's fair enough. Anyways, yeah, this is sort of like a weak spot between the planes. This one just so happens to link to a lovely place called Joriat. Not so lovelily referred to as the Plane of Madness.
Sounds like Mike's hometown then.
I mean, it's not the worst place to go. I mean, the amulets you've got should fight off
Should.
the worst of it.
They
Just,
should protect
I mean, yeah, it's probably worth, if you see something that's a little bit out of the ordinary, or you feel compelled to put something in your mouth, maybe just check with a friend. Just double check and make sure you're not, about to run after something that isn't there, or eat something that's also trying to eat you. It's worth just checking these things out, just to make sure.
All right. Do we need to hold hands as we jump through the gorsel?
Not really. It's not that impressive. And Volky just kind of like steps
Hold
in.
hands.
Are you coming with us?
Volky just sort of steps in and turns around and just waves to you from the other side. It's like, see, nothing.
So you come in with us then? Just
Oh
show us
yeah.
where this stuff is.
I mean, really, I just need you to make sure that I don't get killed. As far as actually getting the dragon shard, that's all on yours truly here. But not so great at the whole
You can literally burn
monsters.
things.
All right, Volky,
Oh!
let's do this.
Oh, you thought? Oh no. Literally, that's it. And he just starts snapping his fingers and dancing a flame between the fingertips. It's like, it's just the fingertip thing. That's it. Just that. Nothing else. He's just sort of lost in thought, just dancing the flame between his fingertips again.
I just walk in the portal
Off
and
the
blow his
music.
fingers out.
Caught in a trap.
Right then, off we go then. Off to work. And with that, we're going to take a quick 10-minute break.
Cool.
So we're back
Cool,
here
cool.
in 10 minutes' time. Catch you all shortly. And we're back. Slightly longer break than usual. Before we get back into the adventure, another quick word from our sponsor.
This episode is brought to you by Talenta Plains Thunder Game Simulator. We're all in this simulation, so why not pretend to achieve something? Get yours today.
Fantastic. We got a list of vendors for where you can pick up a copy of Talenta Plains Thunder Game Simulator.
You can achieve and obtain Talenta Plains Thunder Game Simulator in the Talenta Plains, the home of the Thunder Games.
Fantastic.
That's about it, really. Not a lot of people know about it as it
No,
happens.
it's Halfling kids will
Oh,
love it.
and probably Amazon.
Probably Amazon. Most likely Amazon.
Amazon.tg.
Yeah.
TP.
Talenta Games. Right. So you have travelled with Volky, the half dwarf, half something blacksmith, into a somewhat horrifying, gore-soaked portal they're keeping in their basement. What you find inside is a very large open cavern. There is a series of tunnels leading off from this main opening. In the centre is a sort of large kind of rock formation, almost like a sort of like a halo of rocks, which appear to be significantly darker in colour to the surrounding stone. And you can see dotted around nearby there are a few sort of broken tools, a couple of mining picks that have just been blunted or bent beyond recognition. The stones themselves, you can see, have been worked. There are tool markings in there. In the centre of this ring formation is this dome of muscle, sinew, almost like a I don't want to say testicle. Not going to say testicle. It's
Breasticle.
Yeah, it's a sort of translucent sack covered in this network of thicker fibres and fluid
Tubes, yeah.
capillaries, and you can see that it's got this sickly yellowish tinge to it, and you suspect that may be where the impossibly awful smell of rot and decay is coming from. As I say, there are several smaller tunnels leading off from this main chamber to if you wanted to kind of visualize it, you have entered from the south, and there are tunnels leading off to the northeast, southeast, southwest, and northwest. There is another tunnel that leads off out the north end of the cavern. That is completely dark. The main chamber itself is illuminated with a combination of this sort of eerie purple glow coming from, again, these kind of sort of organic like veins that are running across the ceiling, as well as a series of what look like magically enchanted lanterns that Volky has clearly set up around this site where they've been using it to harvest dragon shards in the past. And Volky points towards the thing growing in the centre of the rock formation and goes, "See, that's the problem. That thing there. There is one remaining dragon shard underneath that thing. And for the life of me, I can't figure out how to get past it to what's underneath. More importantly, I don't really want to just run ahead and pop it because of what's inside."
Creamy goodness.
Not exactly.
Creamy goodness.
Might want to take a look.
Yeah, okay, I'll take a look.
Okay.
Sure.
As you get closer to the sort of fluid sack, you're able to climb over some of the smaller rocks and just peer inside. And you can see, kind of almost like reclining as if they're in a very comfy armchair, is this humanoid figure inside of it. They appear to be maybe 6, 7 foot tall. They're wearing these very long robes, and their hands are kind of just clasped across their chest. They've got these very long, slender fingers, and the robes are adorned with these kind of like metal, sort of almost like batwing shoulder fan braces. The head is this completely smooth, bulbous, almost like squid kind of appearance, and there are these long tentacles just draping down from its mouth across the clasped hands and over an incredibly rotund stomach. Even through the fluid, you can see that this thing appears to be haggard. There are like very deep wrinkles in the face where the eyes are shut. The hands and arms, where they're exposed, appear very gaunt and very very whip thin to them. It appears to be both ancient and obese at the same time. It's a weird thing to look at. Nota, did you say you joined Michael to take a look?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to need both of you to make me a charisma saving throw, please.
Oh,
with
fuck.
advantage because of your medallion.
Oh, yeah. Sound. Oh, well. Cool. 18.
Okay.
13 for me.
Okay. Mycure, you look at it and you immediately hear the docent go, "Oh, shoot. Might want to take a step back from this one."
We should take a step back from this one. So I take
Notad.
one big step back.
Yeah. Notad, as you hear that, you feel the same compulsion to lean into it as you did when you saw the runes upstairs. And then,
Backwards.
just as you're sort of leaning into it, you hear this voice whispering into your mind in a language you don't understand at all. The words don't make any sense. Can you roll a D100 for me, please?
I've always wanted to do this. Okay.
The excitement.
Which one do
Love
I
it.
roll? I've got 3 of them.
All I'm thinking of is
that
as
one.
soon as you described this was Cthulhu.
It's
And I
got
need
a very
D10 as
Cthulhu
well, right?
appearance. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
you
it's
need. Yeah.
2d10 basically.
Can I roll all 3 pairings of D100s I have? And
You just have to pick 2 of them and then roll them.
Okay. 77.
77. Okay. And then
Legit always wanted to do that.
can you roll me a d10, please?
A different one. 5.
Okay. You suddenly feel a hunger like you've never felt before. Like even on your worst days as a student, you've been like, you've gone without eating for a couple of days, but this is a gnawing, immediate desire to just consume something, anything. And you basically scrape off a layer of slime from the outside of this thing and just sort of look at it in your hand, and you have the overwhelming urge to just stuff it in your face.
Sounds reasonable for Notas. Sure. Do this.
The rest of you will have noticed Notad just sort of move their hand across this thing and scrape off a layer of goo from it and just start bringing it up towards their mouth. You've probably got about 5 seconds if anyone wants to react to this.
Nope.
Gross.
Nope, not a
Ah!
single person intervenes as you stuff
Got
this. You just stuff this goo into your face.
No surprise there. They've seen it happen before.
Almost as soon as you do, the realization of what you've just done hits you, and you vomit it immediately back over the floor.
Oh.
It is a
Music go, music
taste
go.
unlike anything you ever want to experience again.
No superpowers then.
No.
No magic egg.
No superpowers from the magic goo. Volky at this point has just kind of looked at you like, yeah, you can kind of see why I've been having some trouble with it. it sort of does stuff to your brain.
So did it like lure me in? Like I wanted to taste it, and has it
Oh
got
yeah,
some sort of
like you
psychic
could just hear
thing?
this. You could just hear this sort of whispering, sort of susurration in your mind, kind of like kind of akin to if every one of the rocks was wearing headphones and listening to music. It's that kind of, you can hear something, but you can't make out exactly what it is. But you would just felt so hungry, and just the immediate need to just eat something, anything. You just grabbed out at the first thing that you could find that looked like it might be edible,
Right.
and
Okay.
just
Fucking wolf.
yeah.
So after seeing them try and eat the slime, can we ask Volky? So, is there any other way around to this dragon thing?
I don't really know. Like, I've noticed that there's these
Where is
things.
the rock? How do you know it's there if you don't know how to get to it?
Well, I've been coming here for quite a while now, maybe 75, 80 years. And this rock formation has just been, it's just a natural formation of Kyber Dragon Shard. Come in, take what I need, get on with my work. It's lasted me, a couple of months. Ran out, come back, got a new one. Anyway, this was more or less tapped out, and the last chunk I could get my hands on was in the centre of this circle. I come back one day, find this thing taken up shop, and I've been unable to work for the last 2 months. Then Mr. Dion comes along and says, "Oh, I can commission you to do something." I said, "Mr. Dion, that's very nice of you. I'm glad you appreciate my work, but I'll be honest, I haven't got the fuel to run my forge." He's like, "Oh, my friend, why is that? What's the problem?" And I explained to him what had happened. He says, "Don't you worry, I've got some exterminators in the area. They can pop in and help you out." And here we are.
We need to have a word with Dion
Is this
because
not
I feel like we're getting a name for ourselves.
this not your usual?
Oh no, it's quite
Killing,
similar.
yeah, but
Fair enough.
Never seen one of these things before.
No,
Me
no,
neither.
we're all shocked that we've been called to go and kill something that we don't know or
so
have
shook.
anything really against. I'm genuinely shocked.
I'm
Will I
not
go
really
for,
shocked.
shall I
'Cause
just go for the
that is
spell
literally
now,
my
or
job.
shall I try it later?
Well, the only
Because
thing
inevitably I throw a spell at it.
the only thing I've noticed is these, and he points to these sort of thicker, almost like tentacles that are running off from the sort of main lump out into each of the 4 tunnels. But tried following one of them. I'll be honest, heard voices, freaked out a little bit, ran for my life.
Well, stranger things have happened, I suppose.
Hey, this is pretty strange. Picks up a pebble off the floor and hucks it at the lump, and it
Ye-
just kind of bounces off like a pebble would. Like it's just a big rubbery mass. It just boom, straight off.
So, do we try and pop this big bubbly thing, or do we see where the tentacly bits go?
Well, I've had a look around. There's the tentacly bits that go off into the caves. I'll be honest, not too keen on going back down there on my own. There's that bit over there, and he points towards the north end of the cavern, as it were, the opposite side to where you've come in. I'll be honest, there's just a big old pit that smells awful.
Can we still not use magic down here, or are we in a different sort of plane so that's all okay again?
Well, I don't think the guards are really going to pick you up on this. But I don't really have much magic myself aside from the finger thing. And he snaps his fingers and starts dancing the flame back and forth. As he gets to his little finger, the flame suddenly shoots up 2 feet. And he's like, "Oh, well, that's new." As they go back and forth, they start changing colour, like still the same ridiculous height off of his hand. Huh. They ain't done that before.
Can I cast Fireball on the gelatinous bulb?
Yeah. By all means. Fireball doesn't. Fireball's is a dex
Dex
save.
saving throw, yeah.
What is the dexterity of a lump of snot? Not a lot. I'll be honest, they will automatically fail the dexterity throw.
Okay, so
It has no
8d6.
dexterity, it's an immobile mass. What was that, sorry?
It was 8d6.
Okay, and that's a 3rd level spell, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. And how much damage does it do?
8d6.
8d6.
Which
Go
is
for
going
it.
to be.
So as you sort of point your finger, you see the little streak of flame shoot out and land whereabouts on the lump?
Right in the center.
Right in the centre. Okay. And then you see the fireball just sort of bloom and expand out on there. What was your damage roll? Oh, say again, you broke up.
23.
23. Fantastic.
Got a ridiculous amount of ones in that.
Okay. So you see
So
the
like to
fireball.
cast fireball as I see Notad do it, and I like to follow suit because I've been wanting to blast something all day.
Blast it!
So you're
So I
both
also
casting fireball.
I
Blast
also
it!
cast fireball.
Okay, go ahead. Roll for some damage, please.
Oh, one spinning. 33.
God.
3. Damn.
I had 1-1.
So
Now I had 4.
no, Tad, your fireball goes off, and there's this enormous bloom on top of the on top of this mass. Mike, you follow suit, and again, there's just this secondary explosion of fire on top, which then freezes. Like the explosion just stops. There's still the light, there's still the heat, it's just not moving. And then it's almost as if time reverses, and you see the explosion kind of draw in on itself. And there is this pulse which travels back from the point at which the spells were cast down one of the tentacles and off towards the tunnel in the southwest. I also need you to both roll me a D100, please.
Yeah!
Yay!
I'm so excited!
Alright, I got a
loving it.
20.
I'm going for a different one.
Which one's the D10?
Um,
Is it you? Oh, it's you. It's you. 28 for me.
No, Cat. It's not for you.
So 28 for Mike, your notad?
Um, so if I get the 0
So
on the
round
D10, is it just so I just 10?
Yeah.
I got 10 and 0, so 10. Okay, cool.
So that would
0 to 10.
so 10 and 0.
Yeah, I got the 10 on the D100 and a 0 on the D10. So 10 overall, I believe.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, so that's just 10. Okay.
Are we dead?
Now, hold up. I'm
Probably.
not just going to go ahead and say, oh, you're dead. That's really boring.
I don't know.
I can think of far worse things to happen than just dying.
Are
Give me
we
some
though?
credit. So, Notad, first of all,
You're dead.
you immediately
Die.
feel your arms sort of jerk back into the casting position, and you release 5 magic missiles directly at this mass.
Okay.
This is a spell you've never cast before and have no idea where the knowledge of it has entered your mind from. I need you to roll me 1d4 plus 1.
3.
Okay. 3. Okay. So yeah, each of these missiles themselves not overtly powerful, but you still feel like that was really weird. And the same thing happens. The missiles hit the mass, and immediately you see the energy sort of dissipate into it and then get sucked away through the tentacle to the southwest. My cure, you got 28, yep?
Yeah, 28.
You feel a sudden insane like innovation. You've always been acutely aware of that there is some part within you that is the kind of the core of your magic and your spell casting. And it feels like it's just suddenly had a shot of whatever magical adrenaline is.
Yeah, it really does.
What this translates to mechanically is for the next minute, all of your spells with a casting time of 1 action have a casting time of 1 bonus action.
Ooh.
So
I can like double cast now? Is that what you're saying?
for the next minute.
Welly, welly, welly.
Mick and Daisy, you've just seen both of these guys cast off a fireball that appeared to be vacuumed away.
BRB, mate. Hang on.
No worries. So you've just seen this double fireball cast get vacuumed away through a tentacle. Mick, your response? Or rather, what have you been up to while this has been going on?
Blast it.
I'm really confused now and think we should go and see what's at the end of the tentacle where the fireballs went.
It's a fair
Alright.
suggestion.
Also, just to make sure, I'm going to try and stab the tentacle.
One
That's-
extreme to the other.
That's fine. Just roll to hit, please. This is not so much a case of you trying to strike a moving target. This is just to see whether or not you actually manage to pierce this.
Roll to hit with. Well, I'm just going to stab it with a dagger, anyway. So that's +6. It's like 24-ish, something like that.
My modifiers are so high, I'm just going to hand wave what they actually mean.
Well, no, I meant like I'm hitting a stationary target in front of
Yeah.
me. I mean, I roll more than one, I've hit it.
Pretty much. Okay. So, rolling anything more than 20, you actually drive your dagger like into this, and you can feel it contact the ground on the other side. If you can go ahead and roll some damage, please.
I'm rolling the wrong dice. That one. Oh,
Whoops, I accidentally cast 150 damage.
5.
5 damage.
Mhm.
Fantastic. And can you also make me a dexterity saving throw, please?
And there it is.
It's 19.
19. Okay, that's fine. As you stab it and pull the dagger back, you have sort of the forethought to jump out the way, sort of fearing a kind of arterial spray. There is a brief trickle of like this sort of yellowish ichor from it. It's this sort of ooze that just kind of leaks out from the pipe. But what you're actually grateful for is that you missed the gout of purple flame and errant magic missile that just blasts out of the wound. So as you step back, there is just this gout of flame interspersed with a couple of bits of purple arcane energy that just goes straight past your face.
I'm going to go with that's the fireball and arcane missiles that kind of randomly went missing.
Volky's looking at it like, I'm going to have to agree with you. This goes a little bit outside of what I normally do.
Yeah, I don't usually stab things and then flames come out of it, to be fair.
Yeah, this looks like it could be getting a little bit tasty. And you can see that Volky has now started pulling out these like segmented bits of a metal pole and just starting screwing them together. And within a few seconds, he's assembled like a war hammer.
I'm
So
going to suggest that maybe we look where the tentacle goes.
that might be worth taking a look into.
Because it seems to me that my fellow colleagues here attacked. Something protect the big thing in the middle they shot at. And
Somewhere else.
it got absorbed into this big tentacly thing. And when I stabbed it, it came out at me.
I mean, whoever thought that Mick would be the level-headed one amongst the group, but sure, I think that makes
Well,
sense.
I just watched you attack it. The attack fly off somewhere random. I stabbed the thing where it went, and then something that came out of it that looked like your attack. So I'm not exactly the smartest person. Not just kind of
Yeah,
gone.
but you're thinking about it.
"Hmm."
I'm just like, I'm gonna attack some more.
I was
Yep,
thinking,
okay.
we do
Must
attack it some more, but we attack the other end of whatever's stopping us attack the
Yeah,
thing we
go
want to
ha-
attack.
go have a look a bit more. Okay, I'm game. I'm game.
Okay. So you start to make your way down the tunnel. And you can see that there is this sort of like thick rope-like tentacle that is sort of just following off, and it is now faintly glowing, like it's being heated up, and it's giving off just a dim light from there. And as you get towards the end of the tunnel, you come out into a smaller chamber. The tentacle leads to, it sort of like dips down into a little pool in this chamber. And you can see that there is something, again, there's another kind of mass in there. And every so often you see this sort of like twitch from the tentacle, and there's a sort of pulse travels along it like you sort of see on a snake trying to move. And then there's a couple of bubbles that appear inside the pool, and the sort of mass in the center kind of almost expands a little bit sympathetically. Standing next to the pool is an incredibly gaunt looking creature. You can see that there's just this bare skin pulled taut against the remaining muscle and bone. And there are these two long sort of tentacles kind of whipping back and forth in the air coming off of its shoulders. The hands end in these horrifically grim looking talons, and there's the like tattered remains of what may have once been a robe or a cloak just sort of hanging off their waist. They don't appear to have noticed you, but you can see every so often they sort of scan their head around. Their ears taper back to these long, sort of sharp points. Their mouth is filled with these horrifically gnarled fangs, and this long, sort of prehensile tongue just kind of moving around in front of his face. And amongst this nightmare visage is the fact that this creature has just two hollow recesses where, by all accounts, it should have eyes.
Could you say that the hills have eyes?
I mean, I would,
out.
but the pun doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense.
No, I
Let's
know.
try.
I know. I just couldn't.
Um,
I had an idea. It didn't work.
That didn't
Moved-
pay off for you, did it?
moved
you
past
had
it.
no idea, just like this monster.
Damn it.
There we go. I put a picture of it in the self-diceolation text channel.
Okay, so the tentacle is fused with it.
Yep.
Right.
This thing is a nightmare to look at.
Haunting.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Tentacle monster banshee. Yes.
Would you say it's been less than a minute?
I would say you probably coming towards the end of a minute.
Okay, I cast Chill Touch twice.
Fair enough.
I go out with both cold, grabby hands.
Okay. Remind me how Chill Touch functions.
I've got a hit DC, so hold on. Okay, that's 20, dirty 20.
Dirty 20 hits.
Cool.
Roll some damage.
All right, so I do 6 with the
Yep.
first one. Also, it's necrotic damage,
Okay. Yep.
and it can't regain hit points until the start of my next turn.
Yep.
And if it's an undead target, it also has disadvantage on attack rolls until the end of my next turn.
Okay.
So I'll come out with my second grabby hand.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, that is a 25.
That
Pew,
also
pew, pew,
also
pew.
hits the ghostly hand as you sort of reach out. Is this sort of
Yeah,
like mirror?
like-
There's this kind of like almost like Green Lantern style projection of a hand
Yeah.
that reaches
These
out and
cold, dead, grabby hands, and
That's
that's
it.
an 11.
okay, so that's 17 total.
Yeah.
Okay, so as both the hands like grab onto this thing, you see the transfer of energy onto its flesh, which immediately starts to almost boil and start to rot where the hands have contacted it. It
Yeah.
swings around and the tentacles start whipping wildly back and forth
Oh
in the
no.
air. There are smaller tentacles coming off of its neck and head and chest that are just sort of waving wildly like you've just made a nest of snakes, very angry. And I'm going to need everyone to roll initiative, please.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Oh yeah.
Is it whipping its hair back and forth?
You can
There
have
we
that
go.
one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly, I don't feel like I deserve it.
Not 20.
I came up with 2, and I can't for the life of me remember them. But there was 2 earlier, and you were mid like sort of monologue, so I didn't want to interrupt. But 2
He's
in quick
monologuing.
succession, my brain went, "Here you go," and I went, "Why? Why now? Of all times when I can't say them and I can't remember what they were." But they were
Well,
incredible. I'm telling you now.
as the great Keatsing once said, you say it best when you say nothing at all.
Okay, so
Psychic damage.
I don't play that way. So Mike, that was what was your initiative count? Sorry,
Nat 20, baby.
that's what with your modifier.
20.
Oh right, fair enough. Mick,
8.
Notad,
Nat 1,
Nat one.
which is a 4.
Okay.
Damn.
Daisy, are you back with us?
Yeah, I rolled 17. It's not added up properly. I should have 19.
That's fine. Thank you very much. And just add this nightmare in. Hopefully that works. Okay. So whilst Avray is just sorting all of that out for me, so you are sort of roughly arranged at the entrance to this cavern. Oh, forgot to add Bulky into the mix.
Ah, Volky.
Classic bulky.
You got a 5. Okay, so ooh, I forgot that I left the sound effects on for D&D Beyond. That's got a nice chilly Icewind Dale wind. So, first up then, top of the round, Mike, what are you doing? I would say by now that your speed buff has finished.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I figured that much. But, like, So did that affect him much? This thing.
You can see like where you've sort of basically just grabbed onto its upper arms. There is the flesh there has, like I say, it's sort of started to boil and rot away. There is sort of exposed bits of bone poking through, and it's sort of like very thick red goo kind of oozing out
Very
from it.
good.
It may have been blood once before, but no longer.
Alright, I'm just gonna wind up a big old pitch.
Yep.
And as I'm winding up this throw, you see this like ball of yellow light in my right hand as I'm winding up this throw. And then as I hurl it at this nightmare, there comes a big thunderclap and I cast lightning bolt
Okay.
right at the nightmare.
Okay. Lightning bolt. So was that a dodge?
Dex saving throw of 15.
Dex saving throw 15. What's the dex on that? Oof. They rolled a 14. That is a failure.
Okay, so that's 8d6. Okay, so that's 29 damage.
Okay. What it says. Just plug that in. So the lightning bolt just fires out from your hand, and this thing,
Yeah.
you don't know exactly how, but it seems to see it coming, and it makes this sort of kind of weird, erratic whip movement. It tries its best to get out of the way, but you see the spell definitely connects with this thing. Just sort its health out, because Afraid is not be my friend. It takes the brunt of the strike directly to its chest, and it's now sort of on one knee, kind of almost superhero posing, desperately trying to get back to its feet. Is there anything else from yourself?
I'm gonna use tempestuous magic, and I'm gonna hover in the air about 3 feet,
Yep.
and that's about it really. I'm gonna just sit back and let my teammates get into it.
Okay, no worries.
Let's
So,
go team.
Go team.
go team. Next up, Daisy, Mick, you're on deck.
Happening on me anytime soon.
Daisy, are you with us, dude?
Can we loot them?
All right, looks like
How
this.
is that only just been made, that joke? How have we not said that already today?
I was saving it. I've been
Oh
saving
yeah, there's
it.
been no let's loot Daisy's
It's
corpse.
because it's Oakley. It's always Oakley.
He always brings it up. Oh, sorry, I've just spotted that they've popped a message into the chat, so they're going to have to drop out. And there they go, they've just disappeared from the voice chat. Cool.
Bye.
Right, so I will pilot Daisy for a bit. Let me just grab that. Where is Daisy's character sheet? So,
Been looted.
Mick, if you want to take your turn, I'll whilst I'm just grabbing Daisy's character sheet. So this thing is pretty badly beaten up at this point.
Okay. Well, since it hasn't actually attacked us yet, has it?
No.
That case, I will use
In that case, I will kill it.
sneak attack it,
Okay.
because with assassinate, if it hasn't taken a turn, I get advantage on attacking it.
Okay.
So I can do extra damage because I have advantage on the attack roll.
Go for it.
So
So we're setting up for an assassinate, sneak attack, wombo combo.
Sort of, except for it won't be critical damage due to the fact that it's not surprised.
That's fine.
So let me just look up what I've got to plus in. So it's 18 to hit on the first one.
18. Keep putting its stat sheet down. 18 definitely hits.
Okay. And damage wise, that would be. Do you want me to just add it all up, or do you want me to just do.
Add it all, because it's all the same damage type, isn't it? It's just one really powerful
Yeah.
attack. What is it you're
Yeah.
attacking with, by the way? Sorry.
Dagger?
Dagger. Yeah, so it's just one really boss-ass dagger strike.
Oh, it's gone up now. That's 18 damage.
You strike with the dagger so hard right into this thing's throat that you actually manage to sever its head clean off the body. You feel as the dagger connects that this is not necessarily normal tissue that it's going into. It's got a lot more give than you were anticipating, and just the sheer force of it just severs any structural or mechanical support this thing had in its neck, and the head just wheels backwards. The body kind of slumps over and slides into the pool of goo next to you. Anything else from yourself?
No, does the tentacle thing that it was attached to do anything, or does it just kind of slump?
The tentacles were like part of its body,
Oh, okay.
but the tentacle that sort of dipped into the pool kind of twitches.
Right. I'm going to step back.
It's a good job you did, because the pool starts a bubbling.
Oh no.
And from what you can see in there, the mass that was in the centre has a vaguely sort of brain-like appearance to it. And it starts twitching and wriggling, and then leaps out of the pool on the opposite side to you. And what you're presented with is a roughly human-sized brain with 4 stumpy little legs sticking out the side of it. It doesn't appear to have any eyes, but it's sort of swinging back and forth, kind of pointing what you guess is like the front end of it at each of you in turn.
I walk over to it and say, "Hello, friend," and stick my hand out to shake its.
Appendage.
Yeah. You certainly can.
I die instantly. You died of death.
You died of death.
Gonna be scared. I'm so very scared.
Make me an intelligence saving throw.
Sheets on.
This would be with advantage because you've still got your magic pendant.
Did not help me as I rolled the same number twice.
What did you get?
Did you say wisdom? Sorry.
Intelligence saving
Intelligence. So 13.
throw. Oof. Okay. What is your intelligence score?
That's 3.
What's the actual score? Sorry, the number is that. So we've got 14.
I rolled a 10. The actual score is 16.
Your intelligence is 16. Okay.
You sure it took a while to get to that answer?
Shut up.
Okay. As you go to approach it, it sort of leaps at your face.
Oh god.
And you feel this kind of like, again, this sort of crazy migraine pressure on you. you just about manage to gather your thoughts enough to grab it and just throw it away from you. And it sort of lands with a damp splat on the far side of the room before flipping over and scuttling away out to the main chamber.
That thing is not our friend.
It is not.
Are the
It looks like
dragon
a brain
shards
with
here?
legs.
Can we see any dragon shards? Do we need to follow it for the dragon shards, or have we completed our mission?
You can see that the pool that it came out of has now started to be drained of all fluid. You can see that the tentacle is sort of like slurping up the last of the fluid that was in there. And as it does, you can see it starting to wither, starting from the pool and working its way back down the tunnel.
There were 4 of these things, right?
There were.
Just want to know if there's any shards are knocking about anywhere.
Something tells me that we're going to have to go to the end of each of these tentacles and beat the shit out of something.
Oh, good.
Can't there just be a pile of shards in front of me?
We haven't found
No.
the right rainbow yet.
I'm guessing that we head back to the main chamber, following in the brain thing.
To the tentacle chambers. Let's do this.
Fair enough.
It's either that or the other tentacles already slurped up the shit, and now we're about to fight a giant brain.
As you make your way back to the main chamber, you feel a sort of tremor from the floor below you. I need everyone to make a charisma saving throw, please. With advantage because of your medallions.
Oh, thank God for that.
I'm charismatic enough as it is, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he says, definitely needing that throw.
Oh, Jesus. Wait, with advantage.
With
I'm throwing
advantage, yes, yep.
different dice, different dice,
Okay.
different dice.
Okay.
Oh my God, I rolled the same number.
That's okay, because I rolled a terrible number, then rolled an even worse one the second time.
Okay,
I rolled...
so
I got through, for what it's worth. I got a 23.
okay, so Mike,
I
you're okay. You good?
got 10.
Okay. No, Tad?
I rolled a 3 both times, which makes 8.
Beautiful. And let's roll that for Daisy. Oh, damn, Daisy got a 17.
I did see that. Jesus.
Heidi.
Char save.
Char save. Yeah.
Char save.
Char save.
Char
Cha-cha,
save.
cha-cha, real save. Okay. Notad and Mick. Can you both roll me a D100, please?
Yeah!
This is fucking hype.
This was the evening that has been waiting for this whole time. Is the evening of the D100s.
The evening of chaos.
86.
86.
Right, okay. So, how does this work? Because I rolled a 1 and a 00. Is that 100 or is that 1?
That's one.
1.
Yeah, okay.
Impressive.
Okay, so Mick, you feel this presence inside your mind, and it stirs up your deepest fears, the stuff that you wouldn't even tell your roguish therapists about. This is the stuff that is such a deep-seated anxiety within yourself that if you ever encountered it would literally paralyze you, which is a coincidence because you are literally paralyzed.
Great.
Roll me a d10, please.
Get better than a 1.
I got a 9.
Nice.
Okay. And Notad, you got, was it 86?
Yes.
You feel the same presence within your mind. It doesn't quite go as deep into your sort of fears and worries, but it's enough to unsettle you to the point at which it is causing you to. You feel like you've lost the ability to speak, and if you tried to utter any words, you only get these sort of faltering little fragments of sentences coming out. Can you roll me a d10, please?
Where's it gone? There it is. 10.
Okay. So Mick immediately just is rooted to the spot. Notad, you stumble around a little bit and eventually just sort of sit down, propping your back against the cave wall. Volky, Daisy, and Micure have spotted this, and Volky sort of goes over to Mick. He's like, "You right, mate? You okay?" There's just no response. Micure, what are you up to?
I see them like kind of rooted,
Yep.
and I kind of follow suit with Volky. I'm like, excuse me, guys, we have a situation. There is no time to be really stopping.
Uh,
So,
it-
come on, guys.
It,
Say again.
my notice was only being able to speak little bits of segments of conversation, right? That's what I was.
Yeah, anytime you try to speak, the words just come out as this sort of like really faltered kind of it's not proper sentences, it's just noise that might be construed as sentence.
That's what I was going for.
It takes maybe around 10 minutes for the effects of this to subside. And as it recedes, you feel, Mick, you feel the movement coming back into your limbs. The whole experience has left you really quite badly shaken on that. You're back to being aware of where you are, but there is a really unsettled feeling within your chest. Notad, you're back to it. It for you, the recovery is more like you're coming around from being knocked out. It's less a case of you're dealing with some deep-seated trauma. It's more a case of you're dealing with more of a kind of like a physical draining. With
I've been
that,
drained today.
a little bit. With that, you make your way back to the main chamber where the source of this is revealed. You can see that the mass in the center is no longer this dome. The tendrils have receded, and there is this sort of growing puddle of yellow ichor around on the floor. And the creature that was inside of it previously is now just floating a few feet above the center, looking at you. You can see that it's holding the brain with legs in its hand. And the long tentacles start to rise up and just sort of feel their way over the hemispheres before curling around the back and drawing it in. And there's this horrific squelching, crunching noise as it consumes this brain. Now, you might remember the last, I guess, meal that was given to this brain prior to its freeing from the pool was the headless remains of an emaciated creature. And the last thing it tried to attack was Notad.
Oh my god.
As this thing kind of munches down on the brain, you see a sort of shift and a twitch come out of it. It's still floating. The hands are kind of like clasped just there, and it's sort of shifting its neck back and forth, and then it becomes slightly more almost like sensual writhing moving through the shoulders and down the rib cage to whatever hips it has, and the robe sort of starts swinging back and forth a little bit, and it's like, Oh, my goodness, it's good to be free. Oh, I have got to do something about this gut. And it looks down at this enormous distended stomach. You notice that you're hearing this without sort of the words having the decency to travel through the air. It is just being projected directly into your brain in common in Notad's voice. And this thing's just looking around and going, oh, I have been asleep for far too long, and there's so much of the world for me to see and experience. Oh, I had better get out of here. Hey, you guys. Points over towards you. Especially you, the short one, looking pretty fine. I've got to thank you for waking me up. Can't stick around here. Places to see and people to do. All right.
Does it look like me? Is it?
It
No.
doesn't
Is
look
it-
like you. Like physically,
Okay.
it still has the appearance of this sort of Cthulhu-esque
Right.
creature,
It's just-
but its movements and mannerisms are like this sort of really disconcerting echo of your own.
Okay.
Just Notad going, I think that thing's hot.
You can't explain it why. Like you look at it and this thing is repulsive, but you're like,
Would you
There's-
fuck me? I would fuck
that-
me.
there's something weirdly alluring about the way it moves.
Brother? Is that you?
You wish, because that'd make it extra weird. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got to go. Peace out, bitches! And snaps its fingers, and you see it just sort of like disappear into a point of light with a little ping as it just phases out of existence. Volky at this point is kind
Hi,
of without
Notad.
words.
I just wave and say goodbye to Notad as it vanishes.
Uh,
Hi, Notad.
Hi? You never went anywhere.
But you just left. And you...
I
Hmm.
don't-
Is this a fleshy thing?
Yeah, sure. It's
Okay.
easier to explain it that way.
Volky's still just a little bit stunned, looking up like, that was weird, right? That it wasn't just me. That was weird for everyone.
Yeah,
Oh
no,
yes. Oh
definitely
yes.
me.
Yes, most definitely.
It was
Okay,
Most
weird.
that,
me.
I mean, probably not some of the weirdest stuff we've been in, but it was weird.
yeah, it's like it's not. It was weird.
Yeah, like not as weird as the time that I was with 2 fire genassis and a warlock, but yeah, for sure, weird.
Cool.
Not as weird as the time I had to dress up for a function for fleshies, but yeah, it was weird.
I thought you'd go with when your eye got drilled, but you know.
That was
We
pretty
don't
weird.
talk about that because I haven't thanked you yet.
You hear the docent sort of spark up in your mind, going, "You have no idea how lucky you just got."
Oh, so he speaks up now. I know I can't hear him, but still I'm mad.
With that, Volky looks into the remains of this sort of flesh pod and it's like, oh, well, I didn't use this, and reaches down and pulls up a dragon shard, similar in size and shape to what you've seen before, but a much deeper, almost purplish hue to it. Like, I'm not going to lie. We should probably leave, because I don't know what that was, or whether it's coming back, or whether we should still be here when it does. I think the answer to everything is no, and we should just fucking run.
I'm with him.
No.
What about Dion's like tasks and stuff?
Oh, well, we got this.
How
Holds-
long have you had that for?
Holds at the dragon shot. I've literally just pulled it up from this. Like, he's still wiping the residue off of it.
It
from
sounded
the...
like you pulled it out of a pocket.
No. He's reached into... So the center of where this thing was in its pod, the pod is now, like, collapsed. And they've sort of reached in and sort of moved some of the tentacles and goo aside and just pulled it up out the center. It's just, like, still cleaning it off and just like, well, I've got this. we can, go and sort out forge upstairs and get Mr. Dion's order sorted, and then I'll be honest, leave forever, because I am not dealing with whatever the fallout from that was.
I think we should leave too. We should definitely leave. Time to go. Bye bye.
Yeah, I'm good with
Okay.
that. And Volky
I
starts
kind-
making their way towards the Gortle.
Kind of want to know more about my twin brother thing, but sure, okay.
I have put a picture of it in the chat if you wanted to take a look at the horrific tentacly nightmare. Well done.
Lost her.
M decided to move channels rather than.
Yep.
There we go.
Yeah,
We've got
yeah.
her back. We've got her back. So as you make
Where? General?
the self-isolation text chat. Sorry.
Oh yeah. I see it then.
So as you make your way back through the tunnel, back towards the Gortle, you see Volky just immediately goes, "Oh, bollocks! I forgot to turn them off. Everyone pin themselves against a wall." And you see the two tubes that he'd set up at the entrance immediately turn and just start belching fire towards the centre of the room. And Volky starts sort of fumbling through their pockets and pulls out a little like gemstone on a keyring and just presses it, and you hear whip whip, and you just see the two flamethrowers kind of power down. A little bit. It's like,
Volky's liability.
I knew how to press myself against the wall because I've seen Notad do it to people before.
Hey. Quick,
Vol-
use your inspiration before the session's over. Roll for
Uh,
something.
Fuck.
I mean, there is a completely
for joke.
there is a completely uncollapsed tunnel to a lair of nightmares behind you. Just saying.
No.
I send a random bolt of Mike's molten mason.
Fantastic. Reminds me again how Mike's molten masonry works.
Okay, a line of roaring flame 30 feet long and 5 feet wide emanates from me from 2 fingers held together in a point. I bring them up and I kind of slash, and as I finish the slash, it just jets out of my fingers in a roaring flame.
So you finish the slash with your 2 fingers.
Like, fuego.
Okay. Yeah. How does the damage do damage?
Dex.
Damage do damage work. Damage.
Dex saving throw of 15.
I mean,
Well,
you're aiming it at an inanimate hallway, so that's an automatic fail.
Sick. Okay, cool. So that's 3d8. That's 12 damage.
12. Yeah, it's enough to start rattling some of the roof of the tunnel loose. And Volky looks up and goes, "Yep, that should about do it. Through the Gortle, if you please." And Volky's already on.
Through.
Volky's already on the other side when you come through, just sort of starting to deactivate the runes. And as you see the runes around the archway start to turn off, the wall kind of starts phasing away from the terrible ripped meat curtains effect, just back to solid stone. And as the last sort of remnants of what you can see through the tunnel fade away, you can see the ceiling starting to cave in and rocks pouring down. We'll montage this next bit just to because we are short on
We need
time
a
now.
montage.
Montage time. So with Volky, you head back upstairs to the workshop, and he plugs the dragon shard into the forge, which immediately roars to life. They start working for the next few hours. You guys are just sort of hanging out in the workshop, patching yourselves up, having a bite to eat. There's a few bits and pieces of food knocking around. Every so often, Volky will toss a piece of scrap metal into the cage with the giant beetle thing. You see the antenna wiggle back and forth, and whatever piece of metal winds up in the cage immediately gets reduced to rust, and then the beetle just wanders over and just starts nem, eating it. Takes about 7 hours or so. And eventually Volky finishes by producing a series of these sort of like brass tubes, each of them inlaid with a series of runic enchantments. The metal has been partly worked with some of the sort of like insects, the like large insects carapace that you've seen, so that there is essentially just a line of spines along one edge of the cylinders.
I swear to God, if he made us come all the way here for a
That's
fancy pair of wind chimes.
Ask him.
For a magical weather rock or something.
Walker's like, I knew a guy with one of those once.
Yeah, didn't
Swear
we all?
he just got conned by a salesman.
Didn't we all?
With that, Volky hands you the tubes in a crate. Says, well, thank you for your help with my vermin problem. I'll see you soon if I need your help again. And just taps the cube in the middle of the workshop, and you see the images of you fade and the light return back into the cube. It's like, if you could, take this with you. And he sort of Rubik's the cube a little bit. Just like you see it like separate into segments and twist and turn. If you need my help, just pop that on the ground and tap the top 3 times.
Like Dorothy's red shoes.
Yeah, but I don't think anyone makes those anymore.
No, probably not.
No. Not a lot
Nobody
of.
has the resources for that sort of thing.
I mean, yeah, we had to stop making them after there was that terrible accident with the tap dancing troupe. Poor
Right.
bastards.
Oh
Those
no.
poor bastards.
Oh no.
They still find the odd finger or toe every now and again.
I've got something up in my pocket for you.
And cinematically, as the sort of camera starts to pull back away from Volky's workshop as you leave and head back towards the smash and grab, we can only wonder what became of the sexy doppelganger currently wandering around with what we assume might be part of Notad's personality. And that brings us to the end of tonight's adventure.
Hooray!
Which will have a
Hooray.
proper title, but for now I will refer to it as the time we taught how to dress a gentleman and get excited
Doppelganger
about.
directional schlanger. There you go.
That'll do.
Oh my God.
We'll see about
How
that.
does your brain work like that?
Yeah. I was just gonna go.
Terrible.
It's a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing and a curse. I'm telling you.
I was going to go with man meeting Gorpals, but
Oof,
Also good.
it's a good
Also
one.
good.
We'll find a title for it. But yeah, thank you everyone for playing. Thank you for everyone watching along live on Twitch or catching the VOD. We'll be back soon to do this all over again. Until then, stay safe, wash your hands, wear your mask, and we'll see you next time. Good night.
Good night, Dice Roll.
Bye,
fans.
Dice Roll fans.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.